Hey, this is DK. I'm going to be showing you how to speedrun ULTRAKILL. So, starting off, I'm just going to show you some tech that you should know about before getting into the run, and then I'm going to do individual level segments showcasing the routes that I take in full game. Uh, Starting off, we do play on Violent. That is just because enemies are slightly faster. There are some boss animations that are slightly faster. Uh, Harmless is a little bit faster on a couple levels, but by and large, Violent is better for full game. So just to showcase the tech, I'm going to go to 1-3 because it's got that nice big open room at the beginning. And the first thing I'm going to cover is dash storage, which is where you interrupt a dash animation using another animation. In the majority of cases, you're going to be dash jumping to do that. And now that I have dash storage, I can slide, and then when I release slide, it's going to activate those remaining dash frames, or the remainder of that dash animation. As you can see there, I went pretty far. So if I do that again, and the main reason why you want to do this is it allows you to have single stamina dash jumps by just releasing slide and then jumping. You can get single stamina dash jumps, and that's very useful because dash jumps are one of the fastest forms of traversal in the game, aside from two other things, I believe, which are slam storage and ultra boost. Which, moving on, slam storage is just when you're sliding down against a wall, you slam and then jump to interrupt that slam, and you'll get those yellow lines around you. If you time a jump as soon as you hit the ground, you'll get a ton of upwards momentum. And if you time a slide as soon as you hit the ground, you get a ton of forward momentum. And then I also mentioned ultra boosting. That's where you just... Here, let me enable cheats real quick so I can just have no weapon cooldown. An ultra boost is just when you shoot your core eject with a malicious rail cannon. I would highly recommend that you go to your yellow machine at the beginning of the level and you switch your malicious rail cannon to the first slot. And as you can see here, I have screwdriver unequipped. That's just because in any percent it's not really used right now. But this is how I'd recommend you set up your railguns. Anyways, the main reason for doing that is just so that you can very quickly switch to it after launching your core eject. There's quite a few different ways to ultra boost. Here, let me actually give myself infinite HP as well, so that I can showcase this. The easiest way is by just shooting a core eject behind you, immediately swapping to your rail cannon, and then shooting. That's referred to generally as an insta-boost. Another method is to shoot it in front of you. Oh, wait, whoops. So, right there was a mid-air ultra boost. In terms of standing ultra boost, it's pretty much just insta boost is all you're really going to want to use because it's generally the fastest and the easiest. But for mid-air, there's a couple options. There's mid-air insta boost, which is, well, it's just insta boosting while you're in the air. And then there's the more traditional mid-air ultra boost, which is where you just launch it, dash into it, and as long as you time it fast enough, it'll be right behind you after you dash. And you can do that. And that right there is the fastest form of traversal in the game. However, since it's on a 15-second cooldown and it requires the charge of your most powerful weapon, it obviously has some drawbacks. Also, because I'm not too sure how familiar people who are watching this video are with the game, there is also projectile boosting, which is where you just punch your own shotgun shot, and that causes an exploding pellet to be launched out in front of you. You can do this with proper timing up to 3 times consecutively. Oh, mess it up there. But There's a bit of a cooldown on that. After you reach your max, you'll have to do like one projectile boost, swap, and then one projectile boost. There'll be too long of a cooldown to do the faster triple projectile boost. Next up is coin punching. That's just when you punch a coin. It'll go wherever you're aiming. And if there are any enemies nearby, so if I go over here, it'll automatically go to the nearest enemy and bounce above them. That damage will stack up to 5 times, I believe. And then after that, the damage won't increase anymore. However, it'll still keep dealing that damage. And that's going to be the main, or maybe not the main, but the fastest method of taking out some of the later bosses, like Gabe and the second V2 fight, as well as the first V2 fight. I can't think of much more tech off the top of my head. There is something that is very useful, but I don't know if I'd recommend it for new runners, and that's called a USJ, which is where you slam storage and then slide and jump on the same frame, and that'll give you both effects, both the forward momentum of sliding and the upward momentum of jumping. But it's only really used in like 2-2, 4-1, and 4-2, and it only saves about a second in the first 2 of those levels, and a couple seconds in the last one, so it's not a huge deal, especially for new runners. But aside from that, I think that's about everything. I will briefly mention now, there's one glitch that we use in the run pretty frequently, well, at least whenever there's skulls. If you checkpoint with a skull in hand, you'll keep the skull. Technically a glitch, it's not really a intended feature, but I thought I'd just mention that now, in case I'm doing that later and I forget to mention it and it's just really confusing. I'm just now remembering, I didn't mention jam blasting in the tech guide. It's just when you dash, and then at the very beginning of the dash, you release your overpump. And as you can see there, I still got the momentum from it, but it only dealt 33 damage instead of the full 50. Alright, with the tech guide out of the way, we can move on to the actual run. Starting with 01, we're going to do a filth clip to get out of bounds in the first room. There's 2 ways to do this. There's the consistent way, and there's the fast way. I will show the backup after I explain how to do the instaclip, because it doesn't hurt to go for the instaclip, because even though it's not easy, it's something you want to learn how to do, you know? Because it just saves that little bit of extra time. So starting off, you obviously hold forward, you grab the gun. As soon as you do that, switch to the blue shotgun. Hold S to go back up against this wall. Charge up a core eject shot. Dismiss the splash screen, like the ULTRAKILL splash logo thing. You can press escape to close it early. Then you want to time your core eject shot so that it'll blow up the filth as they spawn. Then, while that's traveling, your core eject's traveling through the air, you look over at about this angle. There's a specific spot in the texture that you can line it up with, but the most important thing is that when you hear your core eject explode, you just hold W to walk into this corner. You don't want to be aiming too far inwards, because as you can see, if you do that, you're much slower, and that causes the other filth to not properly track you, and it doesn't line up properly. But you just kind of look with this on the left side of your crosshair, you should be fine. Just go into that corner, aim into the corner, hold W, and they should clip you. So I'll try and perform that now. Alright, and then you can just do a mid-air ultra boost. To get over here. And then you hit that door from below. If you need to figure out where you are, you can look straight up. And then you just dash into the corner of the pipe to go out of bounds. I know that was a lot really quickly, so I'll just kind of reiterate, except this time I will show how to do the consistent method for filth clipping. So you just get up on top of his head in the corner, aim slightly to the right, back, dash through him when he dashes at you, keep holding forward, and you should get pushed out of bounds. And then Ultra Boost over here. And if you miss that, that's fine, because you can hit the checkpoint and fight the boss. Doing the boss fight loses about 6 seconds, so it's definitely worthwhile to try and hit that door from below and stay out of bounds, if you can. Also, as you saw there, instead of hitting the door by dashing into the bottom of it, I launched myself back into the door. That's a bit harder to do, but it's just like a small backup that you can do if you do miss it. However, yeah, that's O1. There is a lot to practice there, so don't worry if you can't get it right away or you're having a hard time getting low times. Trust me, between Instaclip, hitting that door, and even getting into the end pipe, there is a lot to reset on, especially in O1, and even more so in Prelude as a whole. Alright, so O2 is definitely easier than O1. Its out of bounds is much easier. However, you're going to have to do at least one mid-air Ultra Boost, if not two, depending on how you do the level. But starting off, the optimal movement is pretty basic. For the start here, it's just dash jump, slide, slide. You want to shoot, ideally both of them, but mostly that far guy because he's the one who will actually hit you. Then after you do that, hit this door to despawn a little bit of clipping on top of that door, and then slide, and then core eject on top of this door, and hold that slide until after you're on top of the door. Then you can just jump on up. And then I like to insta-boost here. Hit this checkpoint, dash jump into this door. Checkpoint when this door is red, and it'll put you out of bounds. And then Ultra Boost, straight to the end pipe. Nice and simple. Alright, and for O3, we're just going to want to trim down the arena as fast as possible down to 1 filth. I do that with a series of split shots. I suppose you could do it other ways, but it's just the way that I've found to be easiest. So you just open up with 2 split shots and then a single ricochet shot. You want to get the filth onto the top of this sort of ramp. Dash twice into this corner. Insta-boost to get up here. Hit that door from below to load in the end pipe. And then dash into the corner of the end pipe. O4 for full game is a pretty simple level. Well, I don't really want to say simple, but past the first arena, it's pretty straightforward. However, that first arena is a little intense, I guess. Once you get used to it, it'll all be muscle memory and you'll just be able to do it pretty much every time, no problem. But you just want to follow what I do, which is just going to be opening up here with dash jump and then slide core eject to get up to the upper part of the first arena. Use a slab charge shot to clean up 2 of the strays. Malrail cannon to clear the middle 2 strays. Switch back to the slab. Reload. Shoot the last stray. Use Knuckle Blaster for the filth. And then while you're doing that, charge up a overpump to insta-kill the malicious face, which I will hopefully now do. So sometimes that overpump will launch you back to the door. There, it unfortunately did it. Once you hit this checkpoint, you restart at checkpoint to regain your stamina and HP. Aim slightly to the left there, so that you won't bonk off the ceiling. And then for that final arena there, I did a slam jump and then launched myself across the arena with a core eject off the wall. As long as you get enough height, you can just jump over the arena trigger for that final arena and just skip it. And then you just go into the end pipe. Nice and easy. 05 is pretty lenient. Right there, you can just follow that movement, a couple of core ejects, into a slide, and then a jump. You want to hit this door, then checkpoint, as that'll cause Cerberus to get up a bit faster. Drop a nail bomb, and then pop it so that your remaining nails don't get attracted to it. Just jump in this corner, spam fist and shotgun to whittle down his HP. As this second one is getting up, if the timing works, you should be able to get a nice coin ad, which I'm now realizing I didn't go over in the tech overview, but I'll show it here, hopefully. So I was only able to add 1 coin there, but that's fine, because it was still a pretty good time. You can slam storage off that door, and then jump over it while it's opening. Congrats! Made it out of Prelude. For Limbo and Lust, it's going to be very movement focused, so just try to copy what I do here. I will mention the tricks as I do them still, but there's going to be a lot less to cover compared to Prelude. So right there, we skip the checkpoint, as that saves a couple seconds right there when we grab the skull. One, 2 used to have an out of bounds. If you've seen the old guide or any older runs, they'll go out of bounds here, but instead we have to just follow this route, which utilizes a shortcut. And there we were also using a Ultra Boost, but instead of using it for momentum, we used it as a nuke, which is just a massive high damage explosion that allows you to pretty easily clear big rooms like that. Alright. 1-3, we're just going to be using the skull glitch that I mentioned in the tech guide. Save a couple seconds. As well as restarting at checkpoint a couple times to save some time. Here, as soon as Hideous Mass's arms move, you reset at checkpoint, and that'll cause him to get up faster. And then just use Soap for the insta-kill. Nice and easy. Alright, so for 1-4, make sure you are on the blue fist, because you're going to do some coin punching to kill V2 early. I'm not going to be doing the route that I take in my full game. I know I said I would, but this is like halfway through the run, and doing the P% route is just that much harder for about 200 milliseconds difference or so. So this is definitely more worthwhile, especially for newer runners. And just launch yourself up with a core eject, slam, and then slide jump straight into the exit. 2-1 is a nice and simple level. Not too much to show here, other than obviously there's an Ultra Boost, or I guess Insta Boost. And then onto the final platform. There you go. Alright, so 2-2 is going to be the first level in the run with a USJ. You can skip it by just doing a slam storage jump and then an overpump to get the same effect. But I just do a USJ because it's slightly faster and it allows me to save a little bit of HP. Anyways, for this level, start off with Malrail and the Blue Fist. Slam Storage off the opening door. And then follow what I'm doing here. And then just using a nuke right there to hit the one power box through the wall. 2-3 is a fairly easy level. It's also going to be the first level where you do a Mind Flare insta-kill though. So probably going to be practicing it a lot at first, but once you get it down, it's a cakewalk. You can also skip a massive portion of the level by just sliding into this doorway with a slightly rightward angle, depending on where you are. If you're too far to the right, you obviously want to have a slightly leftward angle, but a slight angle. We start at checkpoint. And then just overpump the Mind Flare right as it's about to do its attack. And there you go. Just clean up the arena however you prefer. To go out of bounds, we're going to dash jump through this door and then back to the right so that while it's opening, it'll push us through a seam in the level geometry out of bounds so that we can skip a large portion of the level. Then, Ultra Boost in that sort of direction over here into the checkpoint. Again, using the skull glitch to save some time. Unfortunately missed the coin ad there, but even still, that is a pretty solid time. Alright, so for 3-1, we're going to be starting off with a sort of difficult clip. It's pretty similar to the one in 2-3, just aim slightly to the left or right, be on the right side of these teeth. There you go. Launch yourself right to the end with a mid-air Ultra Boost. Just lots and lots of split shots. It's pretty much the best way to clear most arenas. Okay, so start off with Slam Storage off this door. And then you can slide into the door frame here to go out of bounds. Mid-air Ultra Boost here. So, right there, we were fortunate enough to get the good opening attack. There's 2 attacks that he can do. Well, 4, but 2 meaningful attacks, I'll say. There's the one where he slams on top of you and then throws a spear at you. That one isn't as good because he usually doesn't take much damage from the nail bomb. However, if you time a projectile boost for right as he's about to throw the spear, it'll blow up in his face and deal a bunch of damage if you get that attack. But right there, we got the one where he lunges at you, and that deals a ton of damage with a nail bomb. Yeah, that strat's kind of unfortunate because you can lose a lot of time if you just get unlucky. So after Gabe, you can just save and quit out. Usually we don't allow that in the run, but because there's like a minute and a half long cutscene there, and it's a lot of mashing, we just kind of agreed upon going back to the menu and starting greed from there. 4-1, much like 2-1, is very simple, with the added wrinkle that you can USJ here. It's not super required, but it saves like half a second, which is always nice. Alright, so 4-2 is gonna be one of the harder levels in the run. I'd honestly say it's probably the hardest as of right now, mostly because the skull grabs are very precise. But also you can start this off with a USJ. I'm not going to because it's I'm gonna be losing enough of these recordings to this. So the idea here is that we are putting our grapple hitbox on the skull the exact moment that we trigger the area to load. If you do it too early, you'll hit the outer glass blocking the skull. If you do it too late, you'll hit the wall behind the skull. It's really rough, but for this one, for blue skull, bottom of the 4th step, top of the 5th, and then put the inner box of your crosshair against the bottom of this darker strip here, in the center of this box. Right about here, I'd say is good. And then hold W and R at the same time. There you go. You immediately want to put that down. Jump on over here. Red skull. Want to get as close to the center of this pixel right here, the one next to this off one. And then aim about here. By the way, you can also use the rail cannon to aim it, or like get a better sense of it. So like you'd want to go about here. And then again, W and R. Grab 2 of the dual wield power-ups. I'm gonna slam storage over here. Lose all my momentum. Oh man. Slam storage again. Throw up all your coins. Wait a second, shoot them with slab. And as you're coming back down, shoot it with your rail cannon. And there you go. Again, those setups are a huge pain. Getting them fast is an even bigger pain, but if you can get it down, then that will save a huge amount of time compared to doing it normally. Alright, so for 4-3, we're gonna be doing a filth clip again. So we're just gonna be clearing out the enemies as fast as possible. Dash away from the corner, dash through him as he dashes at you. Mid-air ultra boost. Checkpoint for the HP. You don't have to, but I like to take it for safety's sake. And then we're just going to use the soap to tear through all of the enemies. Alright, 4-4. Final level of the run. So, movement here, pretty simple. Just make sure you're slamming on the bounce pads, as that'll save like a second or two per bounce pad. Then for the fight, what you're going to want to do is, at least the way that I do it and consistently do it, is I go up in front of V2, I punch a coin 6 times in front of him, twice per jump, and what that'll do is that final coin hit will be just after jumping off the ground, and that just kind of sets things up properly. So even if you don't get it exactly like that with 2 punches per jump, blah 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 blah, just make sure that you are pressing escape after you hit it on your way up off the ground. And then that way it'll just kind of align nicely. And then after that, make sure that you're waiting for V2 to freeze the coin before you punch it. If you punch it too early, then V2 will freeze it after you punch it to them, and you'll just get shot by your own coin because you won't be able to keep up. So this is what all that looks like. There we go. There's a couple of strats for the second phase. There's the swag strat that Hayes came up with, and the sort of safer strat where you use your railgun in a rail coin. The Hayes strat is slightly better as you don't use your railgun, and that means you don't need to restart a checkpoint to regain your railgun charge, and it saves about like a second or so optimally, but it's up to you which one you want to do. I'll show both of them just because it's not that bad to show both of them, like it's not too hard. So that wasn't the best demonstration of the Haze Trap. That's pretty much how it goes. Launch yourself up into the air with the overpump, throw down 4 coins, punch twice, and then shoot it after it goes above V2's head, and then projectile boost to clean them up. Now, the other method, it's a bit more kind of freestyle. You just kind of do this kind of thing, and then end up with a rail coin. And that's obviously much easier, but you use your rail coin, or your railgun in the process. But as long as you grab the arm there, checkpoint will respawn, or the checkpoint will spawn, and that allows you to regain your railgun. Ultra boost to the end here. That wasn't exactly a great demonstration of how to do that ending bit, but, you know, you want that charge shot to land on both of the filth and the schism there. But, yeah, that's how to speedrun Ultrakill. I hope I covered all the right things and enough things so that new runners can get a good idea of how to pick up this game and how to speedrun it, because it's really fun to speedrun, but it's definitely difficult to pick up, and it's pretty daunting, especially with no guides out there, or not super comprehensive and updated guides. But yeah, anyways, thank you for watching, and I look forward to seeing your runs.